Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast where we speak about the importance of inner health, self-love, the internal balance between our thoughts and feelings, and all the stuff that we can't see but which really very much influences our entire life and well-being. And today, let's going to speak about obstacles, because obstacles are those things which come into our way and make our balance to go out suddenly and very often put us under pressure, crisis, defense, or stress. So all the things that we want and earn for, the love, kindness, and tranquility suddenly disappears because of those obstacles. So let's look at them today and let's put out the magic from them so that we would slowly learn how to live better without them, or how to solve them, or, which would be even the best way, how to don't see them at all. This might be a tricky thing to imagine, right? When you can see so many things you don't like in your life, so many obstacles, and I say that you can learn to don't see them. How is that possible? It is, I can assure you. But let's begin from the beginning. Every one of us goes through a certain type of development, which is fine. And even though we would like to, certain steps we just cannot jump over and neglect. We have to go through them, and obstacles are one of them. So if you want or not, you have to face them for a while, learn from them, and then, as usually, rise above them. Sometimes this process, as I described, takes several lifetimes. So even though the process seems quite easy, in real it's very difficult. For most of us, very difficult process. So it's completely fine if it takes you a little bit more time than you previously expected. So obstacles are nothing more than just one level on our path to enlightenment. And we made a lot of steps so far, and I can assure you that you will do this as well. So you will be successful. It just takes a lot of time. But always the time can be shortened when you have the right information and when you know what to do. If you, for example, would be let alone to learn how to read or how to write, of course it would take you many years to develop language and to develop writing. But because we are in the society of sharing, here are teachers who can teach you how to read and write in maybe less than a year. So you go to school, you learn these two very important basic skills, and then you continue on your journey. And the same is when it comes to obstacles. You are not alone on this path. We are a lot of us here as well, facing more or less the same obstacles and learning during the process, same like you. So welcome on board. And of course, we are not left alone. So here are a lot of texts, books, religions, scripts, angels, and so many important masters and people in human embodiment or in another form that are here for you to help you on your path. And so it's good to learn from them and use the information which they are giving so that you will cut the time needed for learning how to pass over the obstacles. Same as you did when you were small with writing, reading, counting, and so many different other skills. So now let's look at what the obstacles really actually are. At first and foremost, it's about emotions. So problems that, or situations or people that create in our inner world states of hate, states of negativism, of fear. Fear is a very big problem, let's say. Angriness, sadness, aversion, and so on and so on. But fear is the one which stays behind all of those negative things. So it's, let's say, like the basement for all those problems and obstacles that you have to face. But fear, as well as obstacles, you can learn to see and you can learn to experience. But you can also learn how to not experience fear. If you were raised in a Western world like me, this information would be quite new for you. Because if you come from a post-communist country, you can say that our parents and grandparents were raised or were living in a very fearful atmosphere. So the fear was all around. And when my generation was born, I am now in my 30s, we were learned, willingly or unwillingly, to be aware of some level of fear in our lives. And during the time, we learned also how to create our own fear. So if there was not fear from the society, created by the society, we just simply learn to create our own problems, to rise and grow our own fears, to create our own obstacles for living and feeling and being happy and healthy, so that we can continue living with this fear. And it is a very, very common for especially the Czech society. We are very well known for being a people with a negative nature. And even though there is all fine, we always find something to argue. We always find something to be sad and angry and unhappy for. So here you can see how deeply rooted the fear is in the society. Yet I am quite sure that I am not speaking only about this society, but also about many other kind of cultures around the world. So somehow we learned that living without fear is impossible. And now, here is the challenge. We've got to learn how to live without the fear. And it's not so difficult if you understand some basic rules. It is. What you create, you can also uncreate. because you are the creator of all things. So if you decide to say that a certain thing is bad, it is bad, because you call it so. And you have also the same power to decide to call the thing that it is good. And then the value will be that it is good. So you decide how you are going to name things, people, situations in your life. Now let's look at the difference between people and between, let's say, ascended masters or angels if you want to. We as people decide between good or bad. So sometimes we are happy and sometimes unhappy. But can you imagine an unhappy angel? Can you imagine a stressful or worried ascended master? I don't think so, because they simply think differently. They value the things differently. So why not to do the same, to rise above all the fears and negativity just by learning to think differently? If you are like me and you were raised going to church every Sunday, you would probably learn that as mankind and people, that we are sinners. So from a very small child, I was kind of convinced that I am not good enough and someone else has to help me. But maybe that you are good enough. Maybe that there are no sins, unless those which you call sins. So what if you are absolutely perfect? What if everything what happens to you and in this world is absolutely perfect? What if you, instead of being angry or unhappy or fearful, you would start to bless to everyone and to everything that happens to you or is currently happening? What if you change this state of mind? Would then you feel differently? Of course you will feel differently. But it doesn't happen overnight. And even when you, let's say, win this so-called battle in your head today, you may or you will have to fight it tomorrow as well. Or perhaps you will have to take these decisions several times a day. So the process is very long and it takes an enormous amount of patience. It's not like when you decide that you want to buy a new pair of shoes. You go to a store or online and you buy the shoes you want. And from this moment, or after your messenger delivers it, you have your shoes and you can use them. But with our habits and with our mind, it is unfortunately different. We have to learn this, and it takes a lot of time. So you have to again and again convince your own mind what is important for you and in what way do you wish to think. What kind of thoughts do you prefer? And Of course, what kind of emotions do you prefer? Because many emotions will come, let's say, without being invited. It comes automatically because this or that happens, and it comes in the package of our reactions. And you have to start slowly to learn to react differently. And this is what takes so much time. And one last thing I would like to share with you. It is a very important thing, so probably I will cover all other podcasts speaking about it. You will probably reach a moment in your life when you will understand that by whatever you do or choose to have, you are always doing, trying, starving, solving problems. And in the end of the day, it all repeats like in a circle. So no matter what the topics are, the circle is running and running the same story all over again and again. So probably one day you will reach a moment where you will feel and think that enough is enough, and that perhaps no and none of those things, people, or situations are really important for you. You will perhaps see the big picture and understand that you are much more than all what this world can ever offer you. And when seeing this, it will help you to choose what is really important, which is your power and your staying within the light and within the love. And you will see that nothing can be bigger or better than this. So you will slowly start to prefer love and light over everything else until it becomes your best habit. And what is a very nice gift which comes with this victory is that in the end of the day you will see everything in the light of its perfection. So you will finally rise above all of your problems and obstacles, because you will no more see them anywhere or in anyone. So in this way you can clear out completely from your life any obstacles. But as I mentioned many times, be prepared that it will take you a lot of time, effort, and energy. But it really is worth it. And it is a process which everyone must undergo. It only depends when you will consciously start your path. So I wish you a lot of luck, because we are all on the same way. Thank you very much for listening, and have a great start in your new week.